Oh, my mic. Oh, hold on, my mic. Okay. Okay. Hi, I'm Gary the Goo Boy, and today we're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna do something different today. So first, chat, what the fuck are you doing over there? Get over there. Know your place, chat. What I'm thinking is that today we do something different. We're not reacting because I've seen this interview before, but what I want to do is I want to study how interviewers who are all-time GOATs, all-time greatest of all time, all-time GOATs just interview. And I want to see how they navigate the conversation. We're going to look into it. Sorry if I'm late. I was on Snapchat. No shame. Get that music out of my fucking face. All right. First things first, we need to pop this out. And then we need to add a display capture, YouTube. And then we're going to, oh, that's not me. Hello. No, not a display capture. No, it just got ruined. Oh, what did I do? We're going to play Europa Universalis 4 today because I love that video game and I can pause it frequently to talk about the interview. How do I add this to, OBS? Hold on. Is it window capture? Is it, YouTube? There we go. Picture in picture, baby. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to have it right there. Hello. We're going to have it right there, and we're going to have it behind almost everything. Above those. Okay, so that's how it works. So we'll have everything else above it. All right, so this is the, if you guys don't recognize the beginning of it, this is the Nixon Frost interviews, where Nixon famously had him try to delete the tapes because of a variety of reasons. Very controversial interview, but I want to see how they, I want to see how this interview gets navigated because it's a very difficult interview to navigate. So we're gonna try it out and see what's going on. Hi, Geargate. Hello. So while I'm booting up EU4, actually, hold on. Is there sound? I usually don't play this game with sound, but let me just quickly jump in. Okay, before we actually start on the interview, just a heads up, we're doing the third way achievement. The third way achievement in EU4 is one of the more infamous achievements. It's difficult. It's not easy at all. But what it will do is it will allow me to, I can do it, is basically what I'm saying. I can do this achievement. It's difficult. Basically, in the world of Islam, there are three branches, right? You have Sunni, Shiite, and Abadi. Now, Abadi is the shamed of the group. It's the most traditional, if you catch my drift. It's also largely absent. I don't even think there's a single like culture that widely adopts Abadi. But because we're playing so early in history, it's actually available. So if we go to the religious tab here, we see Catholic, Orthodox, Sunni, Shia, a little bit of Coptic. I think there's a Jewish province down here. But what we're going to do is if you zoom in really close, oh, look, there's Abadi. And this achievement is you start as an Abadi nation, not you adopt Abadi. It's you have to start as an Abadi nation. And as Abadi, unite the Sunni Shia, unite Muslim. That's why it's the third way. You start as the weakest version of Islam and you just conquer all Sunni and Shia territory and you just convert it to Abadi. So that's the achievement. There are three nations you can start with. By the way, I'm sorry I have to go. I'm on 3%. Charge your phone. So there's three ways you can go with this achievement. You have Mazab, you have Oman, and you have Pate, which is in a Sunni province, but the state religion is Abadi, so it counts. Now, what's the difference between the three? Oh God, here's the hard part about the achievement. It's not the religious thing. If anything in this game, starting as a religion where you're the only member almost gives you like what you lose in Defender of the Faith bonuses, which is complicated. What you lose in widespread adoption of your religion, you gain in being the only member of that religion means you're gonna have easy time declaring war on everyone around you. So, what's the problem here? The problem is all three of these nations suck ass. Dude, okay. Every nation has their own ideas, right? Their own like like things they can do, right? My body, my rules. Ah, cute. My body, my rules. I get it. So every nation in this game has their own set of unique ideas, mostly. We'll talk about some general ones at last, but we'll get to it. When it comes to these ideas, there is a giant tier list I should do one day about these mods. If you want some of the best examples, the S tier ones, the Ottoman Empire has canoe names. Core creation cost minus 25%. Holy shit, what a great modifier. Saves you an insane amount of administration points, which is a very valuable resource. And you have max promoted cultures +1 because why the fuck not? Ottomans are overpowered. You come over here to France and you have Lessons of the 100 Years War. Morale of armies 15%, yearly army tradition 0.5, and you get morale as part of your first set of ideas. Oh my god, what a great idea that early on. It's so good. Austria comes in with the imperial growth modifier and diplo annexation cost minus 15%. That's just incredible. What are the good ones here? Lithuania has oh no, it's Poland. Poland winged hussars cavalry combat ability plus 30%. Oh my god, biggest modifier in the game. Even Lithuania only gets 25%, but that's just insane. Now, why do I bring this up? I bring this up because when you think of like the worst ideas in the game, they are economic based. Like Lubeck, the Hanseatic League, we played this league before. So they have global trade power, which is just you have more money. Merchants, you have more money. Light ship cost, meaning you have more money. Stab cost and cost to justify trade conflict, that doesn't even do anything much. Manpower recovery speed, not bad. Trade province, whatever, money. Interest per annum is money. Trade efficiency, money. Trade range is steering, money. The problem with money ideas is once you conquer enough land, at a certain point, you don't need to worry about money anymore. It's a net neutral. It just doesn't, more money doesn't help you. You can get more mercenaries, but at a certain point, you need to it's not a problem. You can hire them anyway. So when you look at ideas, the best ideas in the game are military based. So if you come over here to Brandenburg, and this is why so many people love them, what do you have? Infantry combat ability plus 10%. What that means is that late game, or really all points of the game, but most impactful late game, infantry combat ability means your units are 10% more. That means whatever they do, there's 10% more powerful. It's a 10% more multiplier. It's really valuable. Morale of armies plus 10%. Never turn that down. What else do we got here? We have, oh, they didn't change these. They used to have discipline. We come over here to the Teutons. Infantry combat ability. Infantry cost. Manpower recovery speed. Where's the, oh, there we go. Teutonic traditions. Discipline plus 5%. Another more multiplier. Discipline means that you take less damage and you deal more damage, 5% more. So if you add a bunch of discipline modifiers up, that's another more multiplier. That's why Poland's 30% cavalry combat ability means your cavalry is 30% stronger. It's really good. So that's why military ideas are the best, like infantry combat ability and shock damage received minus, because it just makes your units more impactful later on in the game. The more late game you go, the more impactful military ideas are. So poor England over here, the UK, they just don't really have much. They have infantry combat ability, which is great. But then you come over here, it's like heavy ship combat ability. Who gives a fuck about the Navy, you know? Portugal has a bunch of money stuff, so they have like development and construction cost and goods produced, but you don't need money. So why do I bring all that up? That shell shock more multiplier must suck though. Based. So why do I bring this up? Because if you look at these ideas, let's go through them. There's 3 possible starts: Oman, Pate, and Mazab. So we go over here to Oman, right? Oman, morale of navies plus 15%, naval maintenance modifier minus 20%. So money. Then we get trade steering, which is money. Shipbuilding time, money. National sailors modifier and tolerance of heathens. Sailors just means more money, and tolerance of heathens doesn't matter because you're going religious to convert everything to your religion, so you don't need to tolerate heathens. You just want tolerance of the true faith. your faith. No province of yours should stay as like other heathens for very long. So it's not really that helpful to us. Trade efficiency, money. Light ship cost and sailor maintenance, money. Land leader maneuver, that is just straight up money. Merchants +1 is money, and blockade efficiency is just useless. So it's just a money. So these are terrible ideas. The advantage of Oman, however, is that one, you are completely a body at game start. Don't underestimate that. And you have cores. Before this start in the timeline in 1444 AD, Oman actually controlled most of the coastline here, but Hormuz, which is this little island here, actually conquered or at least controls the territory of a lot of the coast here. So if you look at the diplomatic situation of Oman, these green lines here means you have cores, which means they are extremely cheap to get in a war. And when you get them, they have very low autonomy, so they're very valuable. And they're pretty high development. I mean, 9, 18, 23, 26 development in cores for free. Very good. So that's a good start for them. And they can go on to form Mughals very easily. It's just a simple culture shift. So that's the advantages of Oman. Pate. Oh God, Pate. So you don't start out as Sunni. However, we need to talk about territory. So Pate starts out, I believe, on coastal. It might also be tropical. I actually don't remember. It doesn't say here. I think this is coastal or tropical. Either way, it's actually a good province to develop in, which is super important when you're in like East Africa, because technology will spawn in Europe usually, and it'll take like 50 years to get down here. So you have to develop, which means you need to go economic ideas first. There's just no telling. But then you look at their ideas. Ship cost, trade range, money. Trade efficiency, money. Maneuver, money. Tolerance of the true faith, useful. Idea cost, always useful. Mercenary maintenance, okay, money. Production efficiency, money. Diplo rep and Diplo relations +1. Not bad, actually. Did you know that there is a game called Shell Shockers? There's probably a game name for everything. I was about to say something inappropriate. I was about to make fun of Casavia for calling herself an FUTA during the interview. And I don't know why I keep thinking about that. It was just so, I thought she was going to say like she was like a trans character or something. I was like, okay, cool, based, preach it. And she was just like, no, I have a dick. I was like, oh my God. Diplo relations is +1. Diplo relations +1 means you can have another vassal without paying extra Diplo cost. Very good. I like that. And then global trade power is money. So it's not a good set of ideas, but it's tolerable. But Pate is next to Azurani, so you're not conquering them for a while. And you're next to 2 province with like twice the development of you. So it's the toughest start. That's the problem with Pate. Good news. The Zanzibar trade node, very valuable, especially early on. But as you conquer, you're going to conquer all of Zanzibar. Then you're going to go up through the Gulf of Aden in Ethiopia because, you know, you're converting all this anyway. So you're going to make a lot of trade income just incidentally. So it has the best opportunities, especially late game, but it's the hardest to start. Then you have Mazab. Mazab is half a body, half Sunni, a bit of a problem because Sunni is the hardest thing to convert out of. When you look at your ideas, notice it is not like Oman is Omani ideas. Pate is Swahili ideas, which is kind of this generic East Coast thing. Mazab is Berber ideas. Now, Berber ideas is shared with Tlemcen, Djerid, Togurt, Fezzan, but Tunisia and Morocco have their own ideas, same with his vassals. So, what are Berber ideas? Well, morale of armies, pretty great. Naval attrition -20%. Little weird, but all right. I guess if you want to sail across the ocean blue in 1492 as a desert landlocked nation. Naval force limit modifier +25%. That's basically money, but you know, you're not coastal, you're a desert because you're right here. Then you have attrition for enemies +1. Defensive ideas, I guess. I don't really like defensive ideas, but I dig it. Trade efficiency, caravan power is money. Naval tradition and privateer efficiency is money. Cavalry combat ability, not bad, but I'm not a big cavalry kind of guy, so Diplomatic relations +1 vassals, pretty good. Galley combat ability and global trade power. So basically what that means is that you're a desert nation. The good part about Mazab is that you are alone. There's no diplomatic tension, but you do have the advantage of having another achievement, which is as an Abadi nation, form Andalusia, which is you have to conquer. Granada has another achievement for it as well. Basically, if you conquer Spain as a Muslim nation, you can form Andalusia. Or if you're of this culture or whatever, Berber culture, it's a thing you can do. That's a separate achievement. People usually pair them together, third way and forming Andalusia as Mazab. We're not going to do that. Fuck Mazab. Fuck Oman. You need to get lucky and hope Hormuz doesn't ally like the Mamluks or something. Take back all your cores. You're going to declare like 1 month after game start, which is the soonest you can, and just take them all back. If you can do that, you're probably looking at like a 5-year war, because if you take a province, you get 100% war score no matter what. If you if I declared to get like Mizora back, I can take it, hold it for 5 years, and I get automatic 100% war score. That's just, it's a 5-year war is what I'm saying. So you're gonna do that, declare, get Nazara, hopefully pin him on his island or something and just stand troops here and just wait him out. That's the only way you're gonna do this. And then take the whole coast and just win. And then change over to Mughals. We're not gonna do that either. We're gonna play Pate. Oh shit. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna, a lot of not great ideas, but we'll take it. And if you guys want to know the best ideas in the game, just if that's all you care about right now, the Ottomans. I think the Ottomans are the best ideas in this game. Discipline, tolerance of heathens. You think I just said it wasn't that good? Well, look at this. Half your nation is Orthodox. Pretty helpful. Core creation cost, incredible. Manpower recovery speed plus 20%, pretty fucking good. Cavalry combat ability, I'm never turning that down. Tax modifier is okay, but reform progress growth plus 10%, pretty good. National unrest -2, the best form of national unrest. Not tolerance of the true faith, not tolerance of heathens, just everything gets -2. Trade efficiency is money. Navy tradition and ship cost is money, and land force limit plus 25%. 25% more troops all the time. God damn, the Ottomans are good. Holy shit, what a set of ideas. Shout out to Muscovy as well for having, where are you? Morale plus 10% and land force limit modifier also plus 25%. That used to be higher. All right, let's play Pate. Let's stop distracting. Let's play this Iron Man, of course, and then we are also going to be listening to and studying the Nixon Frost debate or interview, which is about an hour long. But this is the interview that kind of got Nixon in trouble because he asked to delete some of the tapes. This is the full interview, so part of this wasn't shown to the public when this was first shown. On the eastern coast of Africa, widely known as the Swahili coast, the Swahili off the Swahili coast, is that this is the lingua franca in the region. The Sultanate of Kilwa is experiencing a golden age. Yep. So this nation down here, Kilwa, is experiencing its golden age, makes a lot of money. All right, let's play the interview. Also, Nivea's hello. Sorry, I was very focused on that intro. Sorry. Kasavia do be having chaotic neutral energy based. Play.
Family affair will not be seen tonight in order that we may bring you the following special program.
Okay, hopefully that's not too quiet or too loud. I don't know. It's hard for me to tell. Man, remember when interviews used to look like that? And I'm going to try to speedrun this a little just because it's going to be a long playthrough. We're going economic ideas first, by the way.
In our first 4 interviews in May, the programs were classified under 4 headings: Watergate, Nixon and the World, War at Home and Abroad, and Nixon the Man, including the final days. But there was a great deal of material that we felt should not be excluded from the record, simply because in some cases it didn't fit into those 4 themes. Accordingly, in this our 5th program, the subject matter ranges far and wide, covering Richard Nixon both at home and abroad. Why didn't he burn the tapes? The 18.5-minute gap. The the Supreme Court and the nomination of G. Harold Carswell. New material on China and on how the Nixon-Kissinger relationship really worked.
So, do we call this poisoning the well? I don't think so. Because one, the interview at this point had already aired, and this is more of a matter of the interview had already aired, and Watergate has already become public, but this is a replaying of the original with the unedited footage. And it's interesting that he just starts off with, "Our president is a dumbass. Today we discover the truth." But he said he was not, I am not a crook. I can't do a Nixon very well. I am not a crook. Imagine a time where an interview can destroy a president. That is not now. Oh, okay. Well, we're not gonna, I need to undo my rules. I don't mind talking about politics. I'm pretty open-minded. I'm more interested in the actual interview than the actual political situation, though.
Story about John and Martha Mitchell. All in just a moment.
Oh, we have a trading harbor here, based. We're going to go economic ideas, so we're going to hold off on development for a while. Corruption is growing, not based. Oh my god, our leader is terrible. Oh god. We are a tribal monarchy. Are we a tribe? No, we're a sultan. Yeah. Okay. Guys, what is it about 70s commercials that make you look at beer for so long?
Channel 11 news director, and whether it's at a shopping center
all right,
or
time to kill our child.
Channel 11 wants to hear what you have to say. We've created a
I am not getting succeeded by a 211, all right?
Speak Out will be at the Puyallup Fairgrounds near the State Patrol Building.
Why am I watching
Monday,
this?
September 19th from 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Come speak your mind.
You don't need an appointment.
Okay, whoa, guys, remember, Nixon was, oh, guys, you got to be careful about this, okay? Remember, Nixon was not taken down because of what he said in the interview. He was taken down and widely just not trusted because he lied and tried to, you know, take away the tapes. It was his actions after the interview that people had an issue with. Remember, before Nixon was impeached, on the process of Nixon getting impeached, he still had an approval rating of like 30%, okay? 30% of the country was still on Nixon's side after Watergate, after the tapes. You mean imagine a president actually lying? Well, it's not the lying part. It's the lying and having video proof of you lying. So, yeah, I get it. I know what you're saying. I probably agree. I get it. Ooh, sorry, I was thirsty. All right, why am I watching this Philip Fair thing? Can we play the... What is this?
Mike makes your day with special people, special places, special shows. Mike makes your day. He's kooky and funny. You like him that way.
The Mike Douglas Show premieres September 19th on Good Looking 11.
I kind of want to look up the history of the Mike Douglas Show and see how bad it failed. There we go, the Nixon interviews. All right, let's watch it. Plus, I get to play this at full
The
speed.
Nixon interviews took place over 11 sessions. And the first question I put to Richard Nixon at the first session was, why didn't you burn the tapes? This was his response.
Now, as a matter of fact, curiously enough, I did not only consider, but I...
Why are we not watching the full interview? The Nixon Frost interviews, extra content complete, Seattle, 1977. Can we watch the actual interview here? Frost Nixon Watergate full interview part 8. When the president does it, it's not illegal. Yeah, I want to see that. Richard Nixon on Inside Washington. It's so hard to find the original interviews. President Nixon. February 1st, or February 9th, 1983. Is this it?
This is the first in a series of several tapings which will extend over several months and several hours with President Nixon. In the subsequent sessions, we'll talk about some
Okay, it's not Frost because it's hard to find, but it's still the same principle here.
of the domestic and foreign leaders.
All right, I'm going to bed. Good night. Good night. Good night. Thank you. Thanks for showing so much support, Dick Casavia. Thank you.
In this first session, we will begin at the beginning with his early life and political career. To begin at the beginning, do you have a first conscious memory?
What?
Well, curiously
Oh, it's going to
enough-
be one of these interviews. Really? You'd want to start out an interview with Richard? If I could interview Richard Nixon today and be like, we can talk about whatever we want for an hour, do I want to start with, all right, sir, what's your earliest memory? It's like even if the interview is in the context of like, here, this is Richard Nixon outside of the era of politics and as a person, maybe that's an interesting way to start out. I would be more interested in starting out at an older age if you really wanted to do like the life story thing. I would do my research, obviously. I would look at the first political thing Nixon ever did, which is, I believe he went to a rally. It was a different kind of thing back then. I believe he showed political support in the 1930s for World War II. I don't think he was actually in World War II, but I think he was supportive of it. Either way, I would start out there and be like, all right, Mr. Nixon, you started out with this. What brought the young man Richard Nixon to that point to do that? I would do something like that.
My first memory is of running. I recall when I was about 3 or 3.5 years of age that my mother was driving a horse and buggy, a very fast horse. She was carrying my younger brother, who was then 1, Don, on her lap, and a neighbor girl who was about 12 was holding me. The buggy turned a corner and the horse took off, and the neighbor girl dropped me. I fell out of the buggy. I got a crease in my scalp, and I jumped up afterwards, and I was running, trying to catch up because I was afraid to be left behind. Incidentally, I had a wound from that for many years thereafter. I wasn't able to part my hair on the left due to the fact that I had about 15 stitches down that scalp.
Didn't you, in the 1946 campaign, weren't you going to mention that in a biography, and didn't your press secretary suggest that you not?
Oh yes, the suggestion was made.
So this is a very softball interview, but that's probably the point, right? This is after Nixon has left the presidency. This might be his first interview since, actually. It's very much a, like, let's sit back for a moment, you know? I kind of get why this is such a softball interview, especially after everything he's been through. I had the best skull. Nothing could dent it. The very best skull. You wouldn't believe it.
Oh, you can't.
I wish I could do accents, dude. I fucking wish.
A carriage or wheel.
Do we care about
because they'll think
absolution?
that's why there's something wrong with your head.
We should do some of these, right?
I haven't told that story too often lately.
Actually, that did work
I do want this.
Wayne Morse, didn't it?
Yes, Joe McCarthy, I thought one of his attacks that I thought was out of line. They weren't all out of line, but this one certainly was. He said,
Can I give up Crown Land? I can.
He got kicked in the head by a horse sometime, and that was why he was a little nutty.
I just want the religious ones.
In your memoirs, you wrote about your parents that whoever said that opposites attract was describing the two of them. We have some photographs of your mother here. The first one, I think, was taken as a girl in Indiana.
So they're really focusing this interview on, like, humanizing Richard Nixon. Is there... Maybe that's how Nixon even agreed to the interview. It's like, listen, dude, I've been through so much. Just give me the softest of softball interviews. Yeah, I don't think there's any, like, I don't think he's, like, secretly unmasked. There's, like, going unmasked, you know? I don't think it's like that. I think it's just more like he's choosing to go down this route on purpose for a variety of reasons.
The next one is a group portrait, very characteristic of the times, taken in Whittier when she was a teenager. And the last one I think
because
is
you can
also-
tell the interviewer did his research, right? Like I keep pausing it. The interviewer did his research. He knows his mom. He knows Nixon's mom. He knows the town they grew up in. He knows what he wants to kind of talk about. So it's interesting. He is starting out here with such a humanizing moment,
of her at that same time. It's remarkable how much she looks like Julie, I think, in these pictures.
Yes, she does.
Who's Julie? His wife?
What do you think of? What characteristics do you think of when you think of your mother in that period, in the early years?
Hey, can you speak up a little? You're
Well,
really
I
quiet.
have
Oh, there we
said
go.
That she was quite a remarkable woman, and I guess most of us say that about our mothers, and really feel it. And each of them is, each in a different way. But I think in her case, those characteristics that stand out among many are first, great strength, great kindness. She had a soft manner about her in her speech and the way she acted. I've never recalled a time when she raised her voice in anger about anything, but she could be very, very convincing in speaking very, very softly about something with which she disapproved. And in addition to that,
we are allying Marahan here because we're going to dual war Ajrani and just split him in half. We're going to partition him.
Her husband, whom she loved dearly, her children, for whom she would do anything. That capacity for love seemed to emanate to everybody, to her sisters, to those she cared for when my brother was sick.
And we're going to declare on this guy first. Of course, you're allied with him. What the fuck?
Develop characteristics that some friends used to say. They used to tell me, Hannah, which was her name, is a Quaker saint.
I think you wrote somewhere that were she alive today, that she wouldn't support the strong law and order ethic that underlies a lot of contemporary politics.
She had too much compassion to do that.
That's a good error. God damn.
As a matter of fact, I recall an incident
433
at the time that we had the grocery store, and we were working there, and one of our customers, whose children were good friends of mine in school and of Don's, my brother's, she found had been shoplifting. And under the circumstances, the sheriff came by, and she mentioned it to him.
It's a lot of money.
You have to report this. And she says, I won't do it because it will be terrible for her and for her children. So one day, when the lady came in, and what she picked up, incidentally, was so small, it was just a kleptomaniac problem because they weren't poor. Not by the standards of those days. She had.
Imagine if that interview had Twitch chat. Oh, he talked about his mom. Wait, Booba? Is that what everyone spams now for like Twitch chat? Like whenever a girl gets mentioned. Let's fast forward a little. I'm not too interested in like Nixon's history, but
don't get the wrong impression about him as a real man.
Oh, it's talking about his dad now.
He too was remarkable in his way. My mother understood him. My mother was quite well educated for those times. She was proficient in Greek and in Latin and in German.
And to be clear, remember, by those times, Nixon, when was this? Nixon was president in the mid-70s, and he was president at like 50. So his mom would have been born in maybe the 1800s, the very, very late 1800s, maybe the early 1900s. So yeah, when he says that time, he really does mean like that time.
Knew something about the piano, helped me a bit in that respect. She'd been to college for 2 years and then got married before finishing. My father only went through the 6th grade.
We have a photograph here of him taken, I think, shortly after he moved to Whittier. He'd had a lot of interesting jobs before that, hadn't he?
Well, as a matter of fact, he went only to the 6th grade, not because he was dumb, but because his mother died of tuberculosis. When he was about
Are you kidding me?
8 or 9 years old. And from then on, he was shunned
wow,
from
just
family
lose
to
a stab,
family.
huh?
He worked in every kind of a job. He worked as a streetcar motorman in Columbus, Ohio. He worked in the wheat fields in Colorado. He worked in the oil fields. He was an excellent carpenter. As a matter of fact, he built the house that I was born in. He was the greatest fireplace maker that Yorba Linda or anybody ever had. He used to make fireplaces for all the people when they were building fireplaces in their houses. And then, of course, he was one who was always ahead of the times. He bought the first tractor in Yorba Linda, and then he contracted out to all the others to do.
Okay, so this is not really answering my questions here. I just wanted to see the actual interview, like a tougher interview, you know? Not even tough. Like I just had a friendly interview with Casabia, but the problem is that it's like, okay, he told a funny story about buying the first tractor. His dad bought the first tractor. Like, that's how old he is. But like, I'm more interested in like how the interview navigates a conversation. He's just letting Nixon just talk and talk and talk, which is fine. But it's also not the kind of interview I would do. He was the greatest fireplace maker. Truly, he built the best fireplaces.
Follett. Because he thought La Follette was against the trusts, La Follette was against big business, La Follette was for the little man, and he thought that Coolidge was too much for the big man. And so it was all of his talk of voting the straight party line. He was very independent in his own way.
Given that opposites do attract, what do you think it was that your mother saw in your father? They met, I think, at a Valentine's dance, and within 3 months were married, and yet...
okay, how about this? Let's do a more modern interview. Let's do an Obama interview. Candidate Obama interview. Let's just see how this gets navigated. Boy, this is hard to find one that doesn't just have... I asked Obama, no. NPR's exit interview with President Obama. Ooh, that sounds interesting. This was 2016. If you're looking for good interviews, I feel like Alex Padilla would make great ones. He's very thoughtful and really manages them well. Ooh, maybe we'll check it out next.
Hello.
Why is every interview so goddamn quiet?
Absolutely. Happy to do it.
Steve Inkeep.
Thanks for joining us
Whoa,
one more time.
hello.
I really appreciate it.
Great to be with you, Steve.
Over my shoulder here is Theodore Roosevelt.
Okay.
In 1884, Theodore Roosevelt was frustrated about an election.
I don't think that's too loud.
And wrote a letter saying the voice of the people might be the voice of God 51 times out of 100, but the other 49, it may be the voice of a devil.
Jesus.
Or of a fool. Which do you think it was this time in 2016?
Wow, that pity laugh. Wow. It's such an obvious pity laugh.
Well, it's hard to assess because we know, for example, that Hillary won the popular vote by a sizable margin. We know that there are a substantial number of voters out there who not only voted for me twice, but currently support me, who also voted for Donald Trump. So I think we have a scrambled political landscape.
Cameraman, can you back out the camera just a little? Holy shit, Obama, I can see your goddamn nose hairs. What is this zoom-in shot?
Right now. There are some...
It's like, Mom, interview me. It's like, okay, honey, here's your shot. It's like, what the fuck? Too close.
things that we know are a challenge for Democrats, structural.
Oh, also, remember, this is in the context of Trump winning the election, okay? This was after Hillary Clinton. This was after January 6th. This was after everything. Obama is leaving office. This is his exit interview before he gets on the helicopter.
For example, population distribution. Oftentimes, younger voters, minority voters, Democratic voters are clustered in urban areas. So
and on the coast.
And on the coasts. And so as a consequence, you've got a situation where there are not only entire states, but also big chunks of states where if we're not showing up, if we're not in there making an argument, then we're going to lose. And we can lose badly, and that's what happened in this election.
Is this just a matter of showing up, or is there something wrong with the argument?
No, I don't think there's something wrong with the core argument.
I want to click this crown position so bad, and I know I shouldn't.
Has made for years. And the reason we know that is because on the individual issues that Democrats talk about, there's strong support. For example, the minimum wage. In every survey across the country, people support a higher minimum wage. There are clearly, though, failures on our part to give people in rural areas or in ex-urban areas a sense day to day that we're fighting for them or connected to them. Some of it is the prism through which they're seeing the political debate take place. They may know less about the work that my administration did on trying.
So what Obama is saying here, and I'm trying to like predict the next question before the guy actually goes on. What Obama is saying is like, hey, you know, Democrats lost the election. We seem to have a problem with the people we're reaching out to, meaning that they are primarily right now young, on the coast, in the city. And from Obama's point of view, I feel like the Democratic Party didn't reach out to these people enough. And that is largely my fault. Like, that's how I read Obama right now. So I would follow up with, okay, I would make him specify, are you saying this should change? Or are you just, well, he's obviously stating the fact of the matter, but are you saying it should change? Or is this the direction we should continue going in? Like, that's the direction I would ask.
Trying to promote collective bargaining or overtime rules, but they know a lot about the controversy around transgender bathrooms.
Oh my God, Obama, please do not ever accidentally say transgender. Oh my God, that's such a bad, don't do that.
Because it's more controversial, it attracts more attention. I think that on something like the Affordable Care Act, you have people who are benefiting right now from Obamacare who either don't know it's Obamacare or consider that as a given.
We might drop this guy as an ally here.
On Second Amendment rights, right? So part of the reason it's important to show up, and when I say show up, I don't just mean during election time, but to be in there engaging and listening and being with people is because it then builds trust and it gives you a better sense of how should you talk about issues in a way that feel salient and feel meaningful to people.
Oh, Casavia subscribed. Oh, it's the boring stream too. All we're doing, by the way, this isn't really politics. It's more so I want to do research into, like, if you have to interview somebody at a very high level, like, what's the direction you want to go in? Where are you going? What are you asking? What's the direction you're shooting the interview for? Thank you so much for today. No problem, Casavia. Thanks for letting me interview you. I'm going to work on the video tomorrow. I wanted to do it after our interview, but that didn't end up happening. Had to print Mars sheets, baby. The charity stream was Pog. Big Pogs, you met your goal. Oh my goodness. Hell yeah. Good job, Casavia. And what I'm excited about with this interview, or not what I'm excited, what I'm learning from these big time interviewers when it comes to interviewing people who are like, who people are going to click that interview to see the interviewee, right? Not the interviewer. So how do you approach that? It seems like the common trend is just letting the interviewee talk about whatever the fuck they want. Like they dictate the pace of the conversation. Like Obama has been speaking for almost 3 minutes now, uninterrupted, like saying his broad views of the Democratic Party. And it's same with the Nixon interview. It seems like everybody is just taking a step back and just letting the interviewee handle the interview. That seems to be the direction. So if I was lucky enough to interview somebody like I don't know, Amelia Watson or something, like one of the all-time like biggest VT, like Fauna, Gura, Amelia Watson, like one of these people. If I interviewed them, it seems like what I should do is just let them talk the entire time. Let them dictate the pace, ask my questions, but keep them short, simple, and open-ended, because I feel like that's what a lot of these big guys interviews are doing. I'm still trying to pin down why they do that. I still don't know why exactly they do that. I can guess, but and I mean that's really all I can do is I can guess. I don't actually know from experience why they do that. That'll just come with experience, you know. Also, yeah, I'm excited for the video too.
And I've said this before. Part of the reason I got elected twice, and part of the reason why in a lot of these communities I still have pretty strong support.
That's true. Obama, as he was ending his term because Trump was getting elected and he beat Hillary, after that, Obama's approval rating like started to shoot through the moon. I think he left office with like 58%, 60% approval rating, which is wildly high in the modern era because people want to see the interviewee speak their mind. True sometimes, yeah. I feel like there's just as many people who want to see the interviewee pressured and actually give the real answer, quote unquote. You see that a lot where it's like you need to give them a hard interview so they can tell the truth kind of deal, which is very conspiratorial, but that's the idea behind a tough interview. You see this a lot with BBC. Maybe after we check your guy out, Geargate, we can look at BBC interviews, because I feel like with the BBC, what they do are very tough interviews, but it's very antagonistic a lot of the time. I don't really like BBC interviews. I know they're like praised as like the all-time goats, but like I don't see it. Like I don't enjoy watching a BBC interview because it always feels like the person who's getting interviewed is like, dude, what the fuck? Why are you talking like this? Depends on the topic. When you want to know about the person, it's best to let them talk. True.
The incredible benefit that I had in first running for the United States Senate in a state that has a lot of rural communities and has a downstate that typically is suspicious of Chicagoans and the city. And just sitting down in people's living rooms and in VFW halls.
Damn, I have 7 light ships? Holy shit.
At fish fries and listening to people. And then in Iowa, spending months traveling around the state and hearing people's concerns and them hearing me and getting a sense that I get it. So that even during my low points in the presidency.
By the way, if Azuron declares on Marahan, I'm just going to drop the alliance. I can't defend him. I would just die. But it looks like he's going to get declared on any second, so we'll see about that.
Poll numbers were bad. And the news cycle was critical. People always felt as if I still cared about them, which meant that in 2012, I might still lose the overall vote in some of these counties or some of these voting districts, but I might lose 55-45 or 60-40 rather than 80-20.
Legalism or mysticism?
That's
I want legalism, right?
As a consequence of not only them seeing me in these places, but it's also a consequence of me actually being there and hearing them.
Were Democrats failing to do that at every level because your party has lost the majority of races at almost every level at this point?
Okay, well, so that is oh my God, we're finally asking. That was the second question of the interview, believe it or not. So that's kind of the direction I was thinking, was like, okay, are you actually wanting change within the Democratic Party? Because under your administration, Democrats lost everything. Because I don't know if you guys remember 2016 that well. After Obama's exit, Democrats, or during Obama's exit, Democrats lost everything. They lost state governorships. I think they were like 3 state governorships away from Republicans potentially having a constitutional convention. It was that bad of a beatdown. So the interviewer was right to aim this in a way where it's like, okay, as you're leaving your presidency, like, do you want to see change in Democratic Party, or do you think this is the path?
I think that we haven't done it as well as we need to. For example, we know that the Republicans, funded through organizations like the Koch brothers, have been very systematic.
Oh, no, Koch brothers, huh?
Building from the ground up.
Building from the ground up and communicating to state legislators and financing school board races and public utility commission races. And, I am a proud Democrat, but I do think that we have a bias towards national issues and international issues, and as a consequence, I think we've ceded too much territory, and I take some responsibility for that. When I came into office, we were just putting out fires. We were in a huge crisis situation. And
that comes across a little excusey for me. I'm not trying to state anything political here. That's not my goal. It's more so I'm looking at it from the interviewer's perspective, because I'm interested in interviewing. It's my current new interest, right? So that comes across a little bit excusey to me. So again, does Obama, as he's leaving the office, do you feel like you are responsible for why Democrats have lost as much as they've lost? And maybe the interview is just going to move on, because if Obama didn't answer the question twice now, he's probably not going to answer at all. So maybe that's the correct way to go about it. But I am interested to see where the interviewer goes with it. It's a long interview.
So a lot of the organizing work that we did during the campaign, we started to see right away wasn't immediately transferable to congressional candidates. And more work would have needed to be done to just build up that structure. And one of the big suggestions that I have for Democrats as I leave, and something that I have some ideas about, is how do we do more of that ground up building?
Do you intend to be involved or just give advice?
Well, I think it's appropriate for me to give advice because I need some sleep, and I've promised Michelle
hey, your streams are fantastic. I noticed something on your channel that I think needs to be amended. If you can work on this, be a great advancement for your channel. Hit me up on Discord. Dude, you and every other Kick user. God damn it. You people sell more shit to me than I've ever seen anything. Dude, does anybody even watch a channel on Kick? Do you guys actually enjoy content that isn't just Aiden Ross fucking jerking himself off over a conspiracy theory? Dude, what the fuck do you people do on Kick besides try to sell shit to me? I might not even stream on Kick anymore. You people are just so greedy. Get to know me. Say hi. I commission shit all the time. I've spent like $3,000 on 2 VTubing setups now. It's just like, I'm willing to spend money, but you guys gotta date me first. Take me out to dinner. Tease me. Give me a blowy. Don't just go out swinging. God damn.
A nice vacation. My girls are getting old enough now where I'm clinging to those very last moments before they
freaking Kick Chat, man,
are out of the house.
But there was a political organization that was built around you that still exists.
Well,
that was a smart question. So what Obama just got caught on there is Obama really doesn't want to answer the question of, is the reason as you're leaving Democrats got slaughtered in every level of elections? Is this your fault? That's basically what the interview is coming down to, right? So it's how hard do you want to push this guy? NPR is the quintessential non-biased network, right? It's the national NPR, National Public Net, whatever. It's public, right? Anyway, so it's the exit interview. What is Obama's legacy? And I feel like the interviewer wants to say, like, dude, it's your legacy. Let's talk about your legacy. Is this your fault? And Obama's just kind of like, nah, you know, whatever. And again, this isn't like a political thing. I'm just looking at it from like, if I were in the shoes of the interviewer. I don't think KickChat has measures for botting. I don't think KickChat has measures for anything. Them GFX bots be wild and everywhere, bro. Yeah, exactly. God damn.
I'm less likely to get involved in all the nuts and bolts of
what is my trade
electioneering.
Cloth? Ooh, that's good.
In that realm,
yeah,
I'm much more likely to just give advice. What I am interested in is just
you guys don't know what we're saving our points on because I'm not going to be teching up Diplo. When the Renaissance spawns in a year, we're going to be developing Pate in a big way. So that's what we're waiting on.
A whole new generation.
42 cost per, by the way. You can see it behind my fat head.
There are such incredible young people who not only worked on my campaign, but I've seen in advocacy groups, I've seen passionate about issues like climate change or conservation, criminal justice reform, you know, campaigns for a livable wage or health insurance, and making sure that whatever resources.
Well, sorry, I keep interrupting because I'm talking about the game. Once we convert our home province to our religion and we get all the bonuses that come out of that, which I think, yeah, it's a 40% tax reduction by having a Sunni faith in our main capital. So once we convert that, our money situation is going to be a lot better. We'll get a singular advisor, and we'll seize more land from the needies, the nobility.
Credibility, spotlight that I can bring to help them rise up. That's something that I think I can do well. I think Michelle can do well. That's part of what makes me optimistic about our future, because I know those young people are out there ready to lead, and when they start moving into more and more positions of authority, then I think the issues that I care most deeply about are going to be well served.
You want to be a talent scout and build the bench that Democrats have admitted they don't have.
Well, not only a talent scout, but I think also a coach.
That's okay. So the interviewer's kind of letting Obama guide the discussion here. So Obama was bringing up, like, again, this is the next interview. A lot of this is going to be about his legacy. Obama kind of teased where the future is going to go, in that he seemed to acknowledge that Democrats have a really hard time finding new, fresh blood to replace or begin to train to replace a lot of the older establishment Democrats they seem to have proliferated around Congress. And so Obama was saying, kind of teased there, like, okay, well, my future might be I serve as a talent scout. So the interviewer was like, oh, okay, well, I've already done my research on this and I've already prepped for this. We're going to be talking about this. Let's bring up the conversation. So, Mr. Obama, you is that your future? Are you going to be a talent scout for the Democratic Party? So it's an interesting follow-up there. Dogma in the Kick chat. Oh my God, a real Kick user. Hello.
A friend, somebody who can build on the incredible work that has already been done by young people, and that to a large degree was responsible for getting me elected.
Did the Russian hack,
this is going to be a big rebellion, by the way,
and other targets actually affect the results of the election in your view?
There's no doubt that it contributed to an atmosphere in which the only focus for weeks at a time, months at a time.
How expensive is this to put down?
Hillary's emails.
50? Oh, that's worth it. Pay 50 points
Clinton
to not have a
Foundation,
rebellion at all, because this is going to convert
political
in
gossip,
7 months.
Surrounding the DNC.
Let me be clear. That's right. Obama does say that a lot, doesn't he? He's like, let me be clear. Obama seems to focus a lot on young people. I mean, again, we're going to keep this like limited to the interview and all that. That's part of that's always been Obama's thing. It's always been like, it's your choice. It's your choice. You can change the world if you choose to. See, I can't really do an Obama that well. But yeah, I think that's going to be, that's something everybody already knows. That's Obama's campaign slogan. But I feel like the job of the interviewer here is not to have a campaign interview, because Obama's done. This is his exit interview. He's done being president. He served 8 years. He's going to probably, like, what is his future? Apparently a talent scout for the Democratic Party. Like, having campaign slogans that focus on the young should be uninteresting to his audience. It should be more about, like, where he's going in the future. You know, nobody ever has to vote for an Obama again, you know?
That whole swirl that ended up dominating the news meant that, number one, issues weren't talked about a lot in the coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Huge policy differences were not debated and vetted. It also meant that what I think would have been a big advantage for Hillary objectively, her experience, her knowledge, her outstanding reputation around the world as Secretary of State, all that stuff got lost. And I think in that scrum, in that swirl, Donald Trump and his celebrity and his ability to garner attention and obviously tap into a lot of the anxieties and fears that some voters have, making money, I think definitely made a difference. Now,
it's interesting that the interviewee on their own went off a completely different tangent there, because at no point did the interviewer ever ask anything about the current election or Hillary Clinton or whatever else, right? Like, he said Democrats lost a lot, but that was more in the context of, you know, how much of your Obama, Mr. Interviewee, or legacy, sorry, how much of your legacy, Mr. Interviewee, Mr. Obama, are you responsible for? And your legacy seems to be one of Democrats losing everything at the end of your term. Like, are you responsible for this? Do you want to see, what change do you want to see? You say talent scouting. Well, what is the current party doing wrong? Like, these are questions I can tell the interviewer wants to answer, but Obama just brought up Trump and, like, beating Hillary Clinton. And it's like, okay, I mean, sure, but it's kind of getting off topic here. So I'm wondering how the interviewer is going to guide this back on topic. Also, hi, Cyber King. I saw you a while ago. Hello.
You know, how you would.
Could you say the election could have turned out differently? That's what I want to know.
Well, elections can always turn out differently.
Dodge
you never
the
know which factors are going to make a difference. But I have no doubt that it had some impact just based on the coverage. And by the way, I'm talking about mainstream news coverage. I'm not talking about a whole separate set of issues around fake news.
That was, by the way, he brought that up. That isn't off topic, sort of. That was the term fake news to talk about alt-right media, then got adopted by Donald Trump during, like, his first months as president. Like, this was the era where where the term fake news became ubiquitous. This is like, as this is happening, you know?
Talking about what was in the New York Times and the Washington Post and on the nightly news and even on NPR. It meant that the field where I think Hillary shone, the field of substance, and talking about
Could we win this war?
We're actually going to increase people's
wages. Okay, hold on. This is important. Let's talk about this for a second. Can we win this war? Let's get up to speed. I think we're actually going to commit to this. So if we declare on Melindy for both of his provinces, right, we would be against 17,000 troops, and we have 11,000. So 17,000 versus 11,000. The thing is, though, is that I'm against 5 troops as a 6, and I can hire some mercs right now, right? If I took out a few loans, probably would be really shitty because I can only take 4 money loans, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I could declare on this guy and just knock out 5,000 troops, which means, what is this? 4 infantry, 1 cavalry, meaning that this guy currently has 11,000 troops, 1,000 of which are cavalry, and Adon over here has 5,000, or sorry, Marahen, my ally, has 5,000. So if I can knock out this guy and unite with this guy before he fights, we could win the war, but holy cow, that would be risky. Let me be clear. Let me be clear. Let me be clear. I can't really. I wish I need to practice vaccines accents. So what do we do here? What do we do here? Well, we could declare on Azeron, but that would be a tougher war. Yeah, that would be even a tougher war. I say we risk it because, like, hey, you know what? We're kind of stuck here anyway. At some point, we're gonna fight these two because I'm surrounded by 2 allies. We could wait until this guy declares war on someone. I just don't want him to declare war on Murahan, and then we have to honor that because who are you allied with? Just me? Really? You're not allied with anyone else, you dick. Oh my god. Oh, he's going to declare on that any second. Once we get our morale up, we're going to declare the war.
Provide healthcare coverage to people and how we're going to deal with major issues like climate change. That wasn't the field in which the campaign was ultimately decided.
Was that the media's fault for focusing on the wrong things, or the candidates' fault for not finding ways to get our message through?
That is a good question, Mr. Interviewer. I like you. So going into, sorry, I keep getting distracted. Going into, you know, the election, right, where Obama brings up Trump and Hillary and fake news and all that. That's an Obama creation in this subject, you know? Not, he didn't create the entire concept, but he, in this interview, he's the one who brought it up. So it's interesting. That's a good little follow-up, Mr. Interviewer.
Yeah, Steve, you know, I'd say that Monday morning quarterbacking is always easy to do, and what I've said already publicly, and I'll repeat, there is something about our current political ecosystem, and we're all a part of it. The parties, the candidates, the media, the voters. That
once this guy gets up morale, we're gonna. Oh, he runs away. He knows.
Avoid.
Oh, by the way, we're taking $1 million loans here
into the issues that are really going to affect people's day-to-day lives. That put a premium on what here in the White House we call the shiny object, the faux scandals, the trumped-up controversies.
Okay, I think it's time to declare the war. I think we can do this. We hired Mercs. I think we can win this. It's going to be a tough war, though.
Insults that are flung back and forth.
Let's go with speed 3.
So that it ends up being covered like a reality show or, at best, a sporting event.
Really?
And we lose track of the fact that this has an impact on some family that's trying to send their kids to college.
Cute.
Or
less time, I see.
Some veteran who's trying to get their benefits, or whether or not some of our young people get sent to a faraway land to fight a war. And
okay, so I'm interrupting Obama here, but you need to understand what's going on here. So I took out Mercs, right? My Mercs are 4,000, and then I have an additional bunch of people here who need fixing. So let's move over to this province. We're just going to stand here for a second. What? Oh, my guys were fighting. We're just going to stand here for just a second. And all we're going to do is just wait. We're going to heal for a bit, and then we're going to jump on him because he's on my province here. Do we have to cross a river? Yes. No, we don't. Okay. No river crossing. This guy is sieging down. So I think we can win this fight. Okay, there's his ally. So that's Mogadishu. That's his little servant there, his little vassal. So if we jump on him, he is going to fuck us here. Really? Oh my god. Do we have Renaissance yet? I guess we don't have to worry about it yet. Okay, it's fine if he's sieging down. I'm gonna wait for his ally to like stand up here or something. Ooh, separatist. Good timing. Okay. Oh, this is excellent. Okay. So his little troops are there somewhere. I'm going to wait till they get found, and then I'm going to jump on them. He's moving to this province. Oh, he's not anywhere. So Mogadishu getting... Mogadishu! This guy getting sieged down is good. So now we're going to jump on this guy. Probably as soon as this finishes, because he's going to get fucked by disease. Food shortage. That doesn't matter. Okay, let's just jump on him. I think it's time. What's his general? A 2200. We have a 1121. Can I do better? No. 3222. I'll take it. All right, let's go. The 3222 should win. All right, they're throwing on another troop here. Oh, baby. Oh, I don't know about this, dog. It's going to be close. I should win. Oh, the other troops fucked me. Wow, really? I must have rolled terribly. Why did I lose that? That's fine. It's fine if we run up here. We can join in with our ally. The problem is that I get stuck behind forts. That's the big issue here. What is this? This is all light ships and a ton of light ships. Damn. I was just about to say rocket issue. I'm gonna murder in game. Oh.
If we don't, do some hard reflection, all of us, on how that happens, then we're like a body that is already weakened and then becomes more vulnerable to foreign viruses, becomes more vulnerable to manipulation and demagoguery. And that's something that I'm also going to be thinking a lot about in my afterlife, my post-presidency.
You talked about this with the comedian Trevor Noah the other day, and you said a number of things in a row. You observed that there had been contacts between members
We're going to lose our capital, but it's
Mr.
fine.
Trump's staff and Russian officials.
Right.
You noted that Trump benefited from the hacks.
Yeah, there's our capital.
Your
That's
spokesman,
fine.
Josh Earnest, has gone on to say this week that it's obvious that Trump knew what was going on. To what extent are you suggesting some kind of cooperation between the president-elect and Russian officials here?
Well, I'm not suggesting cooperation at all.
Oh, there goes
Keep
my
in
entire
mind that those
Navy.
statements were in the context of everyone now acting surprised by the CIA assessment that this was done purposely to improve Trump's chances. And my only point was that shouldn't be treated as a blockbuster because that was the worst kept secret in this town.
Yeah, this is, I mean, now I am talking about politics. This was the era of, I'm going to get my ass whooped. Hold on. I know my war exhaustion's high. Don't panic. All right. Admin, sure. Get a little more money. How do we win this, chat? What's our goal here? Do we try to catch this guy off? I think we do. July 3rd. So you're going. Okay, let's do it. We should win this before he gets there. No! Oh, no. We'll run this way. Or the complete opposite way. Sure. Okay, those guys are all going to get separate there. That's fine. Luckily, he's sieging down my province. A little annoying he's not joining, but that's fine. Okay, hold on. We still have a lot of manpower, to be fair. We're just going to wait a second. Can you just kill my ships? Just kill them. Just get rid of them. I'm just going to wait for morale here, and then we'll worry about that. Obama looks like Virgil. You look like Virgil. What the fuck?
Everybody.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, this was the age of, again, where fake news first started becoming like a term to describe the alt-right media sources. It's also the age of when conspiracy theories started to just get popular, where it was like, nowadays, I promise you guys, if you don't know, ask like a 20-year-old, specifically 20-year-old dudes, like, hey, what's your conspiracy theory? What's your conspi? What's your go-to? And they'll say shit like, oh, I don't think the moon landing ever happened. And it's like cool to be a conspiracy theorist now. Back in my day, you made fun of aluminum hats, okay? Nowadays, if you don't have an aluminum hat, you're uncool, kid.
Understood that. It was reported on. Steve, if you go back and look at your stories, if you read any mainstream publication, you would see that
got him.
If you have a hack of the DNC and a hack of Hillary Clinton's most senior advisor's emails, and those things are then released in drip, drip, drip fashion over the course of months,
What's your capital?
And that seemed to generate
Is it
consistently
here?
negative coverage, despite the fact that there's nothing in there that's particularly
Where's your capital, dude?
controversial, that it's
Oh, this
mostly just, as I said, political gossip or routine emails between
Are you
folks
kidding
who are
me?
working in a campaign environment.
Okay, we're gonna siege this down, and hopefully
Then
it'll be enough
It's
to knock this guy
pretty
out.
clear inference.
Once this
that
guy's knocked
people
out, we have
would
the war.
draw and did draw that this
BRB,
was
see you in a bit.
helping the Trump campaign, and it was hurting the Hillary campaign. That doesn't mean that the Trump campaign was coordinating.
We should
it just
win
means
this.
that
I'm gonna take my
they
mission.
understood what everybody else understood, which was that this was not good for Hillary Clinton's campaign. And when you combine that with the fact
Oh my
that
God!
the president-elect has been very honest about his admiration for Putin, and that
No,
he
keep
hopes
going.
to forge a more cooperative relationship with him and focus on
Wait, did we lose?
the
Oh my
threat
God, we
of
totally lost this.
Islamic terrorism. Then my only point was we shouldn't now suddenly act as if this is a huge revelation. In October, we said, after being very careful about it, because we had no interest in appearing.
So we lost. We lost because I didn't expect Ajuran to just whoop my ass, you know? I didn't expect Like, I thought we could actually win that war. Because what I was going to do was knock out the 5,000 soldiers here. We did. And then I thought, okay, well, I have mercs. I have 9,000 troops. Ajuran has 8,000 sieging my capital. So I'm here and he's sieging this down. This guy was sieging, carpet sieging just everything, right? So I think, and then I jumped on Pate to like relieve the siege, and I was winning, and then this asshole fucking hires 1,000 troops, throws them on, and barely wins the fight. And I think everything was just fucked from there. Because if I won that fight, I could have just sieged down like his capital in a big way. He would have jumped on me again, but this guy was in the picture as well. Like, we could have won that, I think. That was way close. And if we won it, we would have, you know, I would have been a monster. I would have like taken as much as the Azurani coast as I could. Yeah, because we wanted Gulf of Aden provinces first. So I would have like taken all this as much as I could out of him and then separate piece this guy. That would have been amazing, but it was just such a fucked start. So my bad. Let's do Oman.
As if we were
It's the
putting
more
our
boring
thumbs on the
option, but
scales.
we'll do them. Fuck it.
We did what was almost unprecedented, which was every intelligence agency in the federal government arrived at a consensus that the Russians had hacked the DNC, and the information that was now being released was as a consequence of a decision by Russian intelligence and Russian officials at the highest levels. So what the CIA is now assessing, which was it was done purposefully to tilt the election in the direction of a particular candidate, shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, and in fact isn't a surprise to anybody. And as I said before, the issue now is not relitigating the election. The issue now is...
Okay, are we going to continue this interview? I kind of want to see an interview of Hillary Clinton, because it feels like with Hillary Clinton interviews, people were always so mean to her. That's what I can remember the most about anything. I want to see like a Hillary Clinton, like a Fox News interview. I want to see like a bad faith interview. I just, can we actually see? Can we see this interview? I just want to see a Hillary Clinton interview, and it feels like nobody's ever really doing it. Okay, let's drop Fox News then. Maybe that's the issue. I want to see a candidate Hillary Clinton. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 7 minutes, 51 minutes. Hillary Clinton on China, Putin, and the threat of the U.S. democracy. Came out 5 months ago. Based. Perfect. Irreparable? I don't agree. But yeah, I mean, surely more divided. But people have always been divided. Dude, if you don't know divided, look at the Bush-Gore election. That was divided. Where like people, like the entire election came down to a Supreme Court decision, which is still to this day controversial. So that's a thing. Yeah, what's up with my my phone? I can't even read. All right, start.
So I want to get into really important things like US-China relations, the coming counteroffensive in Ukraine, Putin, of course.
So that's the timeline here. 5 months ago, counteroffensive in Ukraine. That happened since. And yeah, it's exciting.
2024 election. But let me just start by asking you, have you watched the Netflix series, The Diplomat?
So again, we start out with a joke. Okay, break the tension, break the ice. He also did a thing where he like laid out what he wants to bring up during the interview. So Chinese, US relations, Ukraine and the coming offensive, which was now multiple months old. Yeah, so he's laying out like a guideline. So it tells me this interview was like unplanned, maybe?
It is on my list, Ed. I have not started it yet.
Okay, let me, so that you don't have to watch it, quickly summarize the plot. And there's a reason why I'm quickly summarizing the plot. Mid-level diplomat gets called into the Oval Office by the president, and he says to her, "You're going to London as ambassador." She goes, "But I was going to Afghanistan." Okay, "You're going to London." Next morning, she's on a Gulfstream jet to London. She arrives at the Downton Abbey on Thames place, apparently having been
the Mamluks. Oh my god, dude! Overnight. Fucking Mamluks alliance? Are you kidding me, Hormuz? Well, fuck me. I think we just have to go for it. Okay, so this is the earliest you can declare war. Are you fucking kidding me, Hormuz? Oh, and then this guy just allies the hit. Dude, how in the fuck did Yas ally the Timurids? You're a 3 development, 1 province minor, and you ally the Timurids? Really? Really? And then Hormuz just allies Mamluk, so I'm fucked immediately, right? Do I just say fuck it and just try to retake my cores anyway? I'm not shooting for 100% thing here, and there's no way they're gonna get military access through like Najd. He's my ally. Shamar, you hate the Mamluks, don't you? Hold on, who hates the Mamluks? Oh god, he's gonna get access. Oh god. Oh Jesus. Okay, here's what we do. Wait. Fuck. Is anyone else a cheap, easy ally right now? Dawa Sir would be? You would be, huh? Let's improve with Dawa Sir real quick. Do I just wait 1 more month? Well, fuck it. We already waited a month. I'm training troops anyway. So let's get Dawa Sir here. We're going to immediately give him... What? Did I not see an alliance a second ago? Oh, you ally... Are you fucking kidding me? Wow, he allied Dawa Sir, so now I especially can't do this. Dude, what is this? Okay, we're restarting. Okay, fuck that. Jesus Christ. Fucking, of course, when I play Oman, Hormuz just goes full perfect diplomat on me. Fucking Austrian following ass motherfucker.
By the Senate.
Fiction for sure.
And then she has a Cinderella shoot with British Vogue. Now, the reason I mention this
we'll do it again.
Sort of realistic plot to you is because the scriptwriters of it, and it's quite a big hit, say that they partly draw their inspiration from you and Bill Clinton because her husband's also a high-ranking diplomat.
It doesn't ring bells, but I'm thrilled that people are being drawn into a story called The
Years of
Diplomat,
Separatism.
and that it's a woman who has apparently the largest writ to be ambassador to the UK that anyone has ever had, since she's out solving a lot of problems besides who gets invited to the coronation. And so I think that it's doing a good service in kind of raising people's understanding and the visibility of diplomats and diplomacy.
So you can, you're being diplomatic. You might watch it, you might not.
Well, I mean, if I'm talking about the diplomat, you know, I guess I have to be diplomatic, yeah.
What do you watch out of interest?
Oh, you know, but when you were saying that, I wrote a book with my good friend Louise Penny called State of Terror about a woman Secretary of State. And we took a lot of liberties in there, but I always tried to ground them in reality. So actually, I think it's a terrific book because she's a terrific colleague and collaborator.
All right,
but,
now we take
you
it.
know,
Ooh,
when
after we ally you.
The character, the Secretary of State,
Oh my God, the fucking
is
alliances
flying
are
around,
killing me.
The world trying to stop a
What
nuclear
the hell?
catastrophe. She does check in with the president from time to time. Like, is it okay if I take a military
Incredible.
plane to Iran?
Fuck it, we're
oh
winning.
Oh my God, he says. But, you know, it's that kind of, you know, rooted in fact, rooted in
We're gonna risk
the
waiting,
reality
but not very
of
long.
diplomacy, but obviously going far beyond that.
So let me, I was talking a little bit earlier with a mutual friend of ours, in fact, who reminded me that
How are you allied with
almost 30 years
Hormuz?
ago, that you, as First Lady, and your husband went to, as President, went to Oklahoma City for the memorial of what was and remains the largest homegrown domestic terrorist attack in U.S. history, in modern U.S. history.
Ooh, that cost, that's pretty
168
sweet.
people killed by Timothy McVeigh. And he gave that famous speech that you cannot love your country and hate your government. And that, the fact that it's almost 30 years, and the fact that you have, you know, you'd had death threats, credible ones, before then, but the fact that you've sort of kind of...
Interesting that, hold on, let's just win this war real quick. Declare for Mazara. We don't need to crush them, we just need to survive. So that's what we're gonna do. So declare. Are we crossing a river? No. I think we can win this. We have a 1-2-2. He has a nothing. He has a 2-1-2, so that's pretty sweet. So we should win this. Excellent! That's the war we wanted. Okay. So now what we're going to do is chase him. Ooh, over here, I guess. He's going to go with his little buddy here, but we're just going to... There we go. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to consolidate. Oh! How'd we lose? The fuck? No way. Oh, no. Oh, I should have taken the 5% morale. He can't stomp me. Oh my God, he can stomp me. Well, fuck. Oh, I can't even click the button. Oh my God, this is so dumb. Oh, either Hormuz plays the perfect diplomat or just out-allies me like a motherfucker. I don't get it. Jesus, why am I having such a hard time as Oman, of all fucking things, against Hormuz of all fucking things? Jesus, I never had this much trouble with Third Rome before, or not Third Rome, that's the easy one. Third Way before. My God.
Continuously lived through this. Reminded me that you're probably one of, if not the most sort of targeted over a period of time person in American history.
He's being extremely generous, but probably because he's asking a lot of complicated questions. And unfortunately for Hillary Clinton, she needs to, the problem as Hillary Clinton is she needs to constantly deal with interviewers who are tough on her, because if they aren't tough on her, people see them as like terrible interviewers, because it's Hillary Clinton. It's the easiest interview in the world, you know?
My question to you, and it's a very difficult one, is that old FDR campaign theme, Happy Days Are Here Again. What's the most plausible way that America today is going to get to something approximating Happy Days Are Here Again?
Well, that's a very complicated question, Ed, but let me sort of pick it apart a little bit. You're referring to the Oklahoma City bombing, and Jeffrey Toobin has just written a brilliant description of it, and through his writing about the bombing of the federal building in Oklahoma City, he does raise a lot of important questions about the antecedents. Timothy McVeigh, a homegrown terrorist, former military service member, was, convinced, as too many
we're not going to rival yet. Maybe that's the difference here.
The government was against us, that there is the need to kind of cleanse society, and he was motivated in part by what had happened in Waco when the FBI
Waco, Texas. Waco, Texas. If you guys don't know that whole debacle, Waco was oh God, do we even talk about it? There was a great Netflix documentary on it, or not documentary, docu-series. Waco was a religious cuckoo's nest where one guy was sleeping with like fucking 15, 20 different families, like their wives and all that. And he was just so fucking weird. And then it was like schizo video recording. I don't know. That dude was just weird. So we're going to ally all of these guys on the 12th and then immediately rival Hormuz. Ally. Must wait a day. That's fine if he doesn't ally. So now we're going to declare. Oh, easy war, boys. Easy fucking war. Look at that. I'm not even going to give him a chance. There we go. So Doris Sir is going to want to jump in on this, but finally we have a good start. Jesus Christ, that took forever. Missions. I don't need this yet. I'd like to save it if possible. Let's go kill this guy. He's going to win that war, but that's fine. He's a good, I don't need this guy at all. I just needed him to like distract him, Cool. Wow, 10 war score. Get stomped. Okay, let's go take our provinces back. So at this point, we've crushed it. At this point, we basically just won. Let's just stand here. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So we're gonna fuck this ally here. We're gonna start sieging down a bunch of provinces here. So split. You go here. You get split. You go here. And here, and then we're just gonna have 4,000 troops just standing there, That's it. We win. Sweet. We're not gonna give this guy any land. At this point, we won the war. Oh, I would like this province though. Hell yeah, boy! We take those. All right, good start.
Storm a compound of some, apocalyptic believers of a character who had been abusing children and all kinds of other issues. So the direct line between a Timothy McVeigh, who committed such a heinous act, and what happened on January 6th, I think Tubin really causes us all to
He better give me that province.
Wonder
it's my core.
How we're going to deal with this strain of violence, this anti-government
he should help me siege this down base.
It's been a part of American history, but which has been somewhat
and we're gonna stand here.
Sweet, by good start. Alliance between the religious right, financial interests, partisan Republican politicians, and of course Donald Trump and the militia groups that we saw in Charleston, and then we saw.
So if I were the interviewer interviewing, sorry, to get back on what the whole point of the fucking stream was, to get back on topic here, as the interviewer, I would be very forgiving of Hillary Clinton here, because if there is anyone who can call themselves the victim in the Donald Trump phenomena, it would be Hillary Clinton. The amount of death threats, credible death threats, by the way, like actually people who would actually kill her and not just be like online tough guys, but just would actually hurt her, is kind of incredible in the worst kind of way, I would be very forgiving toward her apprehension of accepting, to be patient. It's just, it would be unreal,
at the Capitol. So when you say, how do we get back to that? How do we get back to something that
What's the
is
war score
more
cost
peaceful,
here?
where, as my husband said, it's not just if you love your country, you need to love your government, you need to love your fellow Americans. You need to have a sense
taxes,
that we're all in
please.
this together again. And that is a
And then once
heavy
we take
lift.
all of that,
And
I think we might go to Hormuz
I
and
think,
just
it certainly
develop
is
like crazy.
At the core of Biden's brand of politics. He cares deeply about, trying to, get people to work together. He labored very hard and ultimately successfully to pass a rather remarkable legislative agenda that he doesn't get enough credit for, which has
what do we want
real
here?
capacity
Friend
for
in
giving us
need. I would
a sensible,
love
futuristic industrial policy on
probably
clean energy, on
admin aid,
chips,
right?
and so much more, plus the big infrastructure bill. So the way you do it in politics is to defeat your opponents who want to divide the country, who want to use cultural issues to inflict pain and punishment on people who don't fit within their version of the United States. And I know when people ask me, what can we do? And I say something like, you can vote, and you can vote in every election because the other side does. And you need to show up, and you need to get other people to show up.
We all saw how extremists behaved. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's pretty unforgivable, I think.
Look at me like, well, what else can I do? There must be something else I can do.
That's not actually true. I think it must be forgivable because they are other citizens in your country. You must necessarily forgive them. I just don't expect Hillary Clinton to.
Unless you defeat those politicians, those demagogues, those authoritarian wannabes, we are in a very dangerous position right now in this country. And so
I really don't like that language of like, I really don't like that language though of like, we're in a dangerous position. I don't like that language because it implies that like, I don't know. It implies a lot. And I don't like the direction it goes in, I think a better way to phrase it would be something like, we are taking missteps as a country, but we have to be able to work together. We have to be able to, and it's hard for me to say, forgive each other. I feel like that would come across a lot better than, listen, man, we're all going to be fucked soon. It's like, what are you accomplishing by saying that?
I think it comes down to winning elections, as maybe boring and simple as that sounds. And it also comes down to having a better sense of what's really at stake. And
shitty air,
that
though.
young people are
Fuck.
turning out in much larger numbers in elections, in referenda. They're motivated by abortion. They're motivated by gun violence. They're motivated by the climate. They're motivated by the lack of freedom and the sense that, governors are banning books that they read when, they were 10 years younger.
Oh, that's so true. Oh my God. Dude, you will never lose me faster than saying we can't let a child read any book. That is like my ultra trigger. The amount of people who ban Looking for Alaska is it's like one of the most banned books. It's up there with like, oh my God, it's up there with like, not Where the Red Fern Grows. It's, what's the name of that book that the guy who killed John Lennon was inspired by? The Field or something. It was like the, oh my God. I can imagine it. Hayden Caulfield is like the main character in it. And it's just like, I can't remember the name of the book. Anyway, it's on that level. So it's just like shocking to me that like Looking for Alaska is like one of the most banned books in the United States. It's so sad to me. I don't know. She's right to bring that up, I think.
School. So there's a lot that is churning right now in our society and therefore reflected in our politics. So,
based. I wasn't going to get that anyway. Okay, sweet.
Prevent the
wow, look at this war, boys.
Continuing to win elections.
Oh, look at this war.
You were, of course, Secretary of State.
Oh, that is incredible.
I don't know whether John Kerry, he was competing with you for a number of air miles.
Boom.
Who had more air miles? You or John Kerry?
Oh,
You
shit.
had a lot of air miles. You visited.
How is that for a start? Oh, Third Way is going to be my bitch. Oh, baby. Our religious unity is trash right now. Oh, no, it's 84%. That's not bad. Actually, these are all Omani provinces. Wow, even better. But what we'll probably do is make Hormuz our capital. I kind of want to make Hormuz my capital and then just develop that. And then we'll get like Renaissance there's thing because there's gemstones here, which is better than like anything else here. Or so wool. So we'll probably go to Hormuz, get gemstones as our main thing, and then go from there, because that's a pretty sweet start. F? Is it F? I can't see anything on my end. Hold on. I gotta move this. Oh, hella F. Yeah, we F'd. We F'd hard. Sorry, I didn't see that. My bad. You should be back. Still F? I don't think so. I think you guys should be able to see me now.
Countries, one of which, of course, was Russia. And you interact.
Who do we declare next? This guy? Adon, Adol, Merchan.
Reminisce a little bit about those interactions.
Yas is next.
Told you about him.
Are we ready for this war?
Nothing good.
Maybe.
And apparently he felt the same way. So, look, I remember
Guys,
when
I just realized how much I fucked up. I didn't rival Hormuz. Oh God, I didn't rival because we restarted. Fuck, I lost like 60 power projection there. Oh, that hurts. That hurts a lot. Wow, that sucks. Oh man. Lame. All right. Well, we'll live. I just don't like it. All right. We'll rival Mushasha. What we'll probably do is declare on Liwa because I have a free claim, and then kick Qatar's ass. What's my aggressive expansion right now? Nothing, right? It's getting spicy. We're getting a little bit spicy. Baluchistan is like the only one I'm worried about here because he can actually fuck me. Then again, as long as I build ships, can anybody from this peninsula fuck me? I think not, unless they get like Mushasha and Hassa to give them military access, which they should pretty easily.
George W. Bush famously said, you know, he looked into his eyes and saw Putin's soul, and I, maybe not so famously, responded, he's a former KGB agent. By definition, he doesn't have a soul. And it became really clear to me that his mission was to reassert the greatness of Russia, an imperial project for sure. He had said that the collapse of the Soviet Union was one of the great catastrophes of world history. And he was going to use every tool at his disposal to actually accomplish that. So we, of course, knew he was suborning politicians in Central and Eastern Europe. He was funding political parties and candidates like Le Pen in France. He was having favored oligarchs purchase media in the Baltics and elsewhere to try to convey a pro-Russian, anti-West view. So he had a whole project that was going. And we also saw his invasion of Georgia in 2008 and the annexation of 2 sections of that country. And although we all wrung our hands and I guess, imposed sanctions, we basically tried to just say,
really?
Okay,
no forts at all? Oh, no, I have 8 forts. Okay, that's not bad.
He was then president of Georgia.
That's actually pretty decent.
So let's not get into it. And at every turn, Putin thought, well, hey, what more can I do? So when he invaded Ukraine for the first time in 2014, and again seized Crimea, seized additional territory in the Donetsk from Ukraine, there was a lot of anxiety and angst about how to deal with
What we're going to do is take
Ukraine, complicated place.
What we're going to do, by the way, is because we're at war with the Brown Nation here, what we're going to do is after we siege down Liwa, we're just going to hop over to these guys. You should give me military access. Nope. Okay. Somebody has to give them. Yeah, I don't have any military access. Oh, no, it's a fort. Okay, yeah, we should be able to get over there. If I'm able to get over here, we're going to take a bunch of provinces here as much as I can. I don't have any claims on them, but it's also free development, so why not? We'll at least take Qatar, but we'll go Qatar, Hafuf, AWOL if there's no fort there. Maybe. I actually don't know. There's some fort here. Oh, here's the fort. Oh, his capital's here. Oh. Well, that's not bad. Okay, I can just go see. I don't even need to siege this down. So let's go siege down Qatif. Take Qatar, AWOL, because I want to kind of control this whole Gulf here. Probably just take everything if I'm able to get away with the aggressive expansion, which it's this early. I should be able to. And this is all Shia, so that's going to be easy to convert to. Okay, okay. I got you. This guy should be abandoning our thing here in a second. Offer knowledge sharing. Wait, what? Oh, you don't have feudalism. Oh, get fucked. Pay me money. Hell yeah. Okay, and then we're eventually going to get Renaissance. We're going to develop Ormuz. We're going to move our capital over there in a hot bit, in a hop, skip, and a jump.
It's difficult. You know.
Ooh, big F. Ooh, oh, 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 ouch, ouch. Whoa, Nelly. That is, wow, that is, how's that for a lag spike, huh? Huh? Jeez. Guy looks away for 1 second. That's some hella F. I would recommend refreshing the stream at this point because you guys are far behind. Yeah, that's pretty nasty. Damn. Big F. Thanks for the heads up though.
Oh, whatever. You had the arguments as to why, Putin might have felt aggrieved. I personally have always found the arguments that Putin was motivated because NATO accepted members.
Oh, how's that for an error? 432 baby.
Such a losing analysis.
I think we have to go economic ideas first, right?
Never talked to an
Just go
Estonian,
pure
a
money.
Latvian, a Lithuanian, a Pole, or anybody else. You know that they didn't just fear the Soviet Union; they feared Russia. And so everybody wanted to get along with Putin's Russia.
Government's trying to cancel the stream. Based. Not based, actually. I hate conspiracy theories, but based. I get it. Topical joke.
Secretary of State. I would go to NATO meetings. We had a NATO-Russia dialogue. We did everything we could. That was a nice thing to do, but it didn't make any difference to him because he was going to go as far as he could using the old Leninist line, you take the
oh my God, we're actually
saber
making money.
And you push until it hits bone. You go as far as you will be let to go. So in my meetings with him, I found him aggressive.
Remember, Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. Also, this is a terrible interview. I don't even know. Every interview we watched today, can you believe that? Isn't that funny? Every interview with a major figure, long form interview, we're talking like an hour long, is always non-confrontational. I kind of wanted to see a confrontational interview just for anyone, just to see what the interviewer does, but maybe we have to delve into the deep, dark web of internet stream debaters, but we'll try to avoid that if we can.
Contemptuous of the West, uninterested in really finding common ground to work on things. Toward the end of my time as Secretary of State, I watched how he began to forge even a closer relationship with the most conservative elements of the Russian Orthodox Church, and as part of that relationship, to begin going after the LGBTQ community with, crackdowns and, very homophobic rhetoric. So he was someone who had an idea that the West was weak, that the United States was weak, that he could sow division within Europe, that he
Can
could,
you give me access? I don't just want to stand here like a moron.
Have an opportunity to both through intimidation and then where necessary, direct action, reform an imperial Russia with countries along the border who were beholden to it. So bottom line, I found it, he was extremely unhappy with me on several occasions, but the most dramatic was in the fall of 2011. He had announced he was going to go back as president, and Medvedev, who'd been serving as president, was going to become prime minister again. And they had elections. They had Duma elections and local elections, all of which were rigged.
You know what's crazy is if I had a great Navy right now, this guy would be so fucked. His allies are on the other continent with a strait here. So if I actually had a Navy to start, I would just declare war on this guy, plant my Navy right here, and he's just so fucked, right? He has no help. But oh well, that's life for you.
And they were rigged in such a blatant way. It was a message to the Russian people. because you had video of people throwing away ballots. Everything that, it was, Donald Trump's dream was actually on video in Russia. And
remember, she's not running for president right now. She is under no obligation to be nice, nor should anybody expect her to. If there's anyone who's a victim of Donald Trump, it's Hillary Clinton. So we are going to have patience with her, even though she is antagonizing here. She is antagonizing because she's the only one who can be, if there was anyone at all.
So as Secretary of State, I made what we do all the time, a statement in favor of democracy. I know it's very, novel. And so I said the Russian people deserve to be able to elect their own leaders. They deserve free and fair elections, and that's not what we've seen in Russia. Now, having literally nothing to do with my statement, tens of thousands of Russians had already gone into the streets. They were protesting because they had hoped for better. And it was very clear Putin was not going to permit that. So then Putin blamed me for the demonstrations because the one thing he fears is internal protests that could lead to his being toppled.
Can you just let me through, you dick?
He saw it in Ukraine. He saw it in Georgia. He lives in fear of that. And so he blamed me for agitating and arranging for people to go out into the streets of Moscow, St. Petersburg, and a few other places. So that's really one of his major reasons why he was determined to undermine the 2016 election. And he found a willing partner in Trump.
Again, we're not gonna tech up here. We're gonna develop Hormuz once we move our capital there and just get Renaissance spawned there.
Who, was very susceptible.
You mean confrontational, like the Prince Andrew interview? More like confrontational in like a Bill O'Reilly. I wonder if Bill O'Reilly would have like a confrontational interview because I understand he leans heavy conservative, but I'm more interested in like, okay, with a bias, what does this look like? Like that kind of deal to learn from him,
To the idea that a strong man, a kind of tough man, the kind that Trump admires and wants to be, would be paying attention to him and reaching out through intermediaries.
I do seem to recall, though, sorry to lower the tone, some incident with man-spreading and Putin.
Oh, look, okay.
I'm sorry.
He has, he's a short guy, so.
Jesus.
He does. He obviously works out all the time because he's got his shoulders about as broad as they can be given his size, and he struts around, and he particularly loves to embarrass or show his disdain for women leaders. There's that.
He did.
Story
Listen, all right. I know this channel's not about politics. Trump talks mad shit about women leaders across the world. Oh my God. Do you guys remember when the G7 summit happened and Angela Merkel, the German leader, one of the most powerful people in the world, Trump sat next to her, and just the interaction between them is like so memorable. She's like a chemist or something. And Donald Trump was telling her about how shitty the COVID situation was. And he's like, it's just the stupidest shit in the world. And it's like, oh my God. It's like, why? Ugh, we're not talking about politics here, all right? No politics, unless I talk about it first, then it's fair game.
He knew Angela Merkel was afraid of big dogs. So when he was meeting with Angela, he had this huge Russian wolfhound or some other giant dog in the room.
Dogs!
To just, kind of just give her
That's what it was. I forgot what it actually was. Yeah, she was afraid of dogs. She's famously afraid of dogs. And he brings a fucking pit bull. Oh my God, that shit's banned from the UK, along with good tasting food and any spices. Oh my God. Unbelievable.
He always man-spread it. I mean, that's the way he'd sit in these, I don't want to do it, but he'd sit in these, meetings and, what would happen, I think the last second to the last one-on-one meeting I had with him was at his dacha outside of Moscow. And So he calls in the press.
Oh, level
it's just
3.
me, the ambassador, and my aide, and he's got, 2 people. He calls in the press. He launches an attack on the United States about something.
Go for the stab.
And then before I can respond, he directs the press out. But when he's talking to the press, he's doing, his man spreading deal and his kind of, slouched down attitude. So that time I was determined we were going to talk about something because, everything was on my agenda he wasn't interested in hearing about. And he wasn't interested in really working with us. This was by now, I think, 2011. So so I had read that he was interested in conserving some of Russia's wildlife, like polar bears. And I said to him, I've read that you really are serious about this, and I commend you for that. I think that's important. He said, yes, and he said, come with me. And so he jumps up and
Right,
leads
you
me out
low
of the room.
enthusiasm.
We go down the stairs, we go down this long hallway, and we go into this secret door, and there are these security guys sitting around. They're shocked to see him. They jump up. He goes into another door. Then we go into another door, and then we're in this like inner sanctum office, just me and him. And on this wall, he has this huge map of Russia.
I can't believe I have to
And
improve
he
with this
starts
guy
to tell
just
me
to get military access.
what he is
Can you
doing
believe that?
about saving these various species of animals. And he said, I'm going up here, and he points to the far north of Russia. He says, I'm going up here to tag polar bears and to count polar bears. Would your husband like to go with me?
Aww.
I said, well, I don't know. I don't know his schedule, but I'll go with you. That wasn't an invitation for me. But so you could get him animated about some things. The other time he got animated
All right,
was
let's actually go to war, boys.
in September
It's time.
of 2012. Putin has spent all this money. He's taken this island. He's turned it into kind of a university. We're all staying on it. That's where the meetings are held. And by this time, he's really unhappy with me because I'm
Squashed it.
agitating about Syria and what the Russians are doing in Syria. And I had reached an agreement with Lavrov about
we're
a
just gonna-
ceasefire in Syria, and then Putin had.
So here, let's kill some rebels here. We normally it's kind of bad look to take out another country's rebels. You are helping them by doing that, but I feel like it's for the greater good here. I think we can get away with it. Who are you at war with? Wait, what? My ally is requesting that you come to their aid against Hassa. You would join as a regular ally if you... let's accept, but also not give them anything. Let's accept, but we're going to kind of cheat this out a little, We're going to split in half. This one goes over here. And we're just going to take every province we possibly can and kind of fuck our ally over. Oh my God, everyone's declaring on this guy. Oh shit, this guy is fucked. I was like, wait a second, I don't know those troops. Wow, this guy is going in 4 separate wars. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Damn, this guy is hella dead. And I'm going to win it all, baby.
So Obama can't go, so I'm there. And he won't talk, and Putin won't talk to me. But because of protocol, that old joke, like what's the difference between a terrorist and a protocol officer? You can negotiate with a terrorist? Well,
now,
because of protocol...
Okay, now we have the big question, and this is an actually difficult one. In theory, I could vassalize Hassa and then inherit those 3 wars that he's in. Now, here's the advantage of this. Najd, it'd be 4 wars. Dawasur, Najd, Shimar, and Mushasha are fighting separate wars, right? This guy's in... Okay, sorry. 2 of them are shared. This guy's fighting in 4 wars. Me, this guy, Dawasur, these 2 are allied together to fight this guy, and Mashasha, right? So in theory, I could just vassalize the Hassa, inherit those 3 separate wars, and fight them all. I could do that. I think I'm actually strong enough. I don't think it's actually outside of the realm of possibility here. Or we just take our 3 provinces and call it a day. Especially, honestly, if he pieces out here and he just takes that 1 province, maybe we do inherit that. What is this? What's going on here? Who's upset? Can you guys like chill for like a second? Chat can barely keep up with the politics Hillary's talking about, and you expect us to even know what these places are? Now this is F for good. We're back. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know why my internet is just having issues today. I apologize. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. In fact, I can tell how bad the lag is because it says I have 0 drop frames, which is objectively not true. So, oh yeah, no, the stream fully restart. Isn't that funny? Well, ain't that a thing?
The United States had hosted the event in Hawaii the year before. Indonesia was hosting the event the next year. So at dinner, Putin had to sit between me and the president of Indonesia. He was not happy. And so I'd been trying to get a meeting with him about Syria, and he wouldn't talk to me. And then right before dinner, he said he would talk to me for, like 10 minutes about Syria, and then we had to go into dinner. So I'm sitting with him, and again, I'm going, I gotta find some way to get him to talk. I gotta hear, I gotta figure out what's going on. So yeah, that's how I felt. And then so I said to him, Mr. President, and he also was speaking English to me, which, he pretends he doesn't know or understand. And he said, I said, I was just in St. Petersburg and I finally had a chance to go to the
Can you siege down this province? What in the hell?
The siege.
You know what, here, let's create a new unit.
Heroic,
take everybody off.
Efforts of the Russian people.
Somebody else can siege that down. I got things to live.
Going any further. And all of a sudden he gets kind of involved again. And he says, let me tell you a story. And it's just telling me.
Can I kill you?
And he said, my father was on the front lines during the siege.
Whoa, World War.
And he would have to be there for like 3 days, and then they would let him
bad.
go home for a half a day or a day, and then he'd have to go back. And he said, there was no food. People were.
Okay, that's F. I think that's the end of the stream. Okay, sorry, everyone. Yeah, that's the stream. Too much lag. Okay, that's the stream. Too much lag. It's endless. Maybe we won't play like a 1080p video over everything. I don't know why we're dropping frames. Everything's paid for. Anyway, see you later, alligators. Thank you for everything. I'll probably play this on my own because we're having a really good start, but we'll see kind of where we go from here. And we get... Ooh, I do want legalism. And we're going to go from there. Anyway, enjoy, everyone. Have a good night. Have a good evening. This guy is an asshole. Bye-bye.